Dow Jones celebrates Trump's State of the Union by plunging 400 points. Many questions surround Donald Trump's imminent State of the Union address. Will he rant about American carnage and swampland corruption to a level that satisfies his base? Will he go off on a nonsensical tangent about attending fabulous 80s parties that were a veritable who's who of New Yorkers? Will the U.S. Capitol Police be checking the papers of the 27 dreamers expected to attend? Amid the chaos, one thing is certain: the dealmaker-in-chief will position the U.S. economy front and center, with a major focus on his $1.5 trillion infrastructure plan and the stock market gains he entirely attributes to himself. Under normal circumstances, Trump's eagerness to take credit for the economy would be, if not strictly accurate, at least understandable. But on the very day of Trump's big speech, this happened. The drop, of course, can't be entirely attributed to Trump, just like the gains aren't all his doing, though you wouldn't know it from his Twitter feed, where self-congratulatory tweets about market performance may actually outnumber those attacking professional athletes, Hillary Clinton, and whatever retailer decided not to sell Ivanka's pumps and handbags. But the sudden plummet, which is the Dow's worst since May, could prove an awkward contrast to whatever lines Stephen Miller wrote for the president strapping investors to the jetpack on his back and soaring to heights no one thought possible. Worse, there's a chance the trend could continue, nixing one of Trump's only bragging rights. We are long overdue for a serious correction, David Kotok, co-founder of Cumberland Advisors, told CNN Money. Will this be the one that takes the market down 5% or 10% and scares the hell out of everyone? Even before Tuesday's news, the fact that Trump's speech focuses on the myriad economic boons Americans have enjoyed on his watch was always going to be a little awkward, considering that when it comes down to it, his policies have had little to no direct impact on the majority of the U.S. population. The thousands of jobs he promised both on the campaign trail and in office have often failed to materialize, or have manifested in much smaller numbers than Trump has claimed. And the crown jewel of his presidency, his big, beautiful tax cuts, has so far gone unnoticed by most voters, with just 2% of adults saying they've received a raise, bonus, or additional benefits due to the Republican tax law. In fact, the wealth and income gap is worse than ever, with Vox reporting that the most recent numbers from the U.S. Census Bureau show that the top 5% of American households earned an average of $375,088 in 2016, versus an average of $12,943 for the bottom 5%. Adjusting for inflation, this represents the biggest income gap in at least 20 years. And by most counts Trump's tax bill will only widen the gap. But don't just take the fake news media's word for it. Here's what respondents to CNBC's Fed survey had to say. Tasked to parse out how companies will use the windfall from the tax gains, most respondents didn't see much going to workers. About 36% is seen being used to buy back shares, 22%, and dividends, 14%. Debt reduction is forecast to get the next biggest piece of the pie at 13%. Workers are estimated to get just 12 cents of every dollar of additional savings from the corporate tax cut. This would amount to much less than estimated by Trump administration economists, who have argued that workers could reap 70 or 80 cents of every dollar of corporate tax relief. Forecasters are more